Alright, hello there, Nick Braun here, and today I will be showing off my 2D midterm level called Knight's Quest. But first I'll start off by showing you guys my concept drawing. So this is the initial concept that I came up with for my level. Since it is an early concept, I did move some stuff around, but all in all it follows the same basic layout. I just moved some items and some rooms around, but all in all it's pretty much the same. So you start in a main room here, and then you work your way up, collecting items as you go until you eventually collect all 5 at the end, and then you come back to the main room and you go to the other end where the main door is, and you use your 5 items to unlock the door and win the game. So yeah, it is very late. I am very tired, but I will try to do my best to explain my post-mortem as I go. So yeah, let's dive into it. Alright, so this is Knight's Quest. So I made my game based on a medieval setting where you play as a sort of peasant / knight type character, and you have to go through the castle and collect pieces of your armor, because according to the narrative, the castle you are in is under attack. So if you go to the left here, you'll see a little pilgrim guy freaking out, saying that the castle is under siege. Suit up, knight. And so that's what we're going to do, so that we can go into this big door here. So we'll go through here. You'll see a door that we can't access at the moment, so we'll come back to that later. We'll go up this ladder. You can go left or right, but I think we'll go left. Jump over these spiked platforms that will kill you on impact. And here's our first puzzle room. So you'll notice in this puzzle room it's very dimly lit. We got 3 candles, but only 2 of them are lit, so that means that there's something going on with the third unlit candlestick there. So if we go up to it, press E to activate, we'll pull it down, and a secret doorway will open. And voila, there's your first item, the shield. Jump over these again. Yeah, one initial thing that I had problem dealing with or setting up was the kill zones for these things. I forgot that you had to set up the box colliders on the kill zones and set the tags to player, because I was just going through them the whole time, so that was something that wasn't working too well for me. But we go through this courtyard here, and then you'll see a trap door here that looks like we should be able to get through it, but if you jump on it, nothing happens. That's okay, we'll come back to that later. And we come into here, and this is the dungeon area. Very dim. Jump up a ladder here. That's beside the point, but I wanted to show you that in this dungeon is our second item, the helmet, but you can't get into it because it's locked in a cage. So what do you do? Well, if you go up here, like I did before, you'll see that there's a skull here on top of a little red trigger. And if you push the skull off the trigger, the cage will open. And there you go, you got your second item. Move this skull out of the way. We'll jump up here. Now, if you try to keep going up the ladder, you'll notice there's a wall that's blocking your path, which means that we can't go up there just yet. We got to solve something first. You'll see a big orange block that you can push. So we'll push that into this little hole here. Doesn't really do anything because there's nothing really going on, but if you go over here, there's a cliff that we can't reach. So what you gotta do is you gotta take this barrel and push it over so that you can jump on top of it and onto the platform like this. And then there's a second orange box which you gotta push off the edge here, and that'll fall, and that should open the doorway on top of the ladder there, because there's an invisible trigger right here which will deactivate the obstruction that was on top of the ladder before. So you can't get up here until both those blocks are pushed up against each other, until you go up here to the very top, and then you'll see one last orange block which you push down, and now they're stacked on top of each other, and now you can jump from here to this platform to get the third item, the leggings. This part was really difficult for me to set up. It was part of the things that didn't go right, because I was just trying to figure out a way on how to get these blocks to fall properly without them falling in the wrong direction, either this side or the left, and then If you screwed up, you'd have to play the whole game again, but then I eventually figured out that I was able to keep the rotation locked when they fall so that they don't do anything like that. So yeah. And if we go to the left here, I'm kind of outside, jump over here, and now you're in the armory. But you get your fourth piece, the armor. You notice here a broken sword, which you can't get, but there's a key up there. And that is the key to the doorway that we saw at the beginning of the level. So if we collect that, and we go back down, you can jump down here to get down a little faster. Now remember this trapdoor? How we jumped on it, nothing happened? Well, we can fix that if we actually just jump up here and then jump, land on it, we'll break right through. And then you'll be in sort of like a sewer type area, which will carry you then all the way back to the main area. See? And then we'll go back here, use the key, and voila, the door's open. And there's our last item, the sword. Now we're a fully suited up knight. Go over here, talk to the pilgrim. The door shakes and then opens. And we are good to go. And that's how you win the game. So I'll start with the stuff that went right. So basically, ironically, creating the sprites was the most smoothest thing that probably went with me. I was able to make the sprites relatively the same size and have them animate really well and blend well together. So that was something that was actually not too big of a deal for me. I had no problem animating the run and jump scenes. I think the idle scenes took the longest overall, but other than that, I'm proud of how it turned out. The level concept was also pretty solid when I started, just making minor tweaks here and there without any major changes in design or function. What's some of the stuff that didn't go so right? Well, creating the animations was easy. Getting them to function properly was absolute hell. Like for the longest time, I was constantly stuck in this frozen jump. The frozen jump animation where you're on the ground, and I would constantly just be sliding everywhere. I probably dealt with this the longest until I figured out the best way to fix it was to actually take the 2D controller sprite out and put it back in. So yeah, that was kind of like a face palm moment there. What else? Dealing with the game. Also, while in play mode, I also had to deal with the game constantly pausing every time I collected an item or touched a trigger, which was really frustrating because it just took up more time with me having to keep unpausing the game when I wanted to continue. But when I got it into build mode, it functioned properly. So yeah, that was kind of a big headache. And what would I have done differently? Well, I initially wanted to have my character basically don the armor in his sprite every time he collected it. Whenever he collected his helmet, I would change the sprite so that he was wearing a helmet. And if he collected the armor, I would change the sprite so that he was wearing the armor. But, if I had a whole year to do all that, if I had the time to draw the armor on him and animate his running and jumping and idle poses within each armor piece in different iterations, that would have taken forever, but that's something I would have done if I had the time. But yeah. And instead of the text up here in the UI, I kind of wanted to have it so that there was black silhouettes of each armor piece on the screen, and every time you collected a piece, the armor piece that you collected would then fill with color. But we weren't really taught that in Unity, so I didn't really know how to do it, so I kind of just stuck with text. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it.